You either is or you ain't. You do or you don't. You can or you can't. Or you will or you won't. Either way, baby, a good man, well, he's hard to find. Welcome to the One More for the Good Guys podcast, where good guys gather to shed light on the good life, the people, and the good things that make it that way. I'm Mike McGill with my co-host, Jamie Akins. Now, raise your glass, lend us your ear, and let's have one more for the good guys. You either is or you ain't. You do or you don't. You can or you can't. Or you will or you won't. Either way, baby, a good man, well, he's hard to find. Hey, everybody, McGill Billy here.
And I am Jamie.
Welcome back to One More for the Good Guys. Thanks so much for all the support and that we see each and every week growing for all the social media channels as well as the podcast. We are back for One More for the Good Guys. If you haven't tuned in before, this is our special Saturday edition of covering the football game that we got coming up this Saturday, which is the in-state rivalry of the Tennessee Volunteers against the Vanderbilt Commodores. And probably at no other time in history of this rivalry, as we get on into it, is this week any more important than it has ever been. Probably, certainly for us, but as well as for both schools, honestly.
Yeah,
in a number of different ways, but
we're back in it.
Yeah,
now, and you don't have any choice to win. You've got to win this game, and really,
playoff starts on Saturday.
That's right. Playoff starts today.
Yeah,
because this will be
exactly.
Saturday. I think that. I also think they need to blow them out.
Oh yeah.
I think you need to really. We can talk about it as we go. Well, they need to blow them out. Make a statement.
Yes, absolutely. Save your strength.
Yeah,
because we're going to need it. Because I may absolutely blow a fucking O-ring today. I've got a lot to say. But before we do that or have any malfunctions, what are we smoking today?
Well, you got us these La Aroma de Cuba Noblesse, and it's spelled like noble, Noble, and then a couple of more E's and an S. It's kind of, the label's kind of a little bit hard to read. I don't know if y'all can see that, read it there or not either, but Noble.
Maybe we'll put a picture of it up.
Yeah, we'll put a picture of it up. And where'd you get these?
Where did I get these?
Just picked up a pair?
I got these, I believe. Yes, I just picked up a pair. I had Holtz had done a big review on them when this blend was out last year and a few years ago, actually. And they changed it just a little bit this year and brought it back with a little bit more flair, a little bit more flavor as their, I guess one would say this is their top of the line.
Cost-wise, for sure.
Cost-wise, for sure, but they're top of the line offering in their in all their brands. But it's
which is a big deal because everything they make is fantastic.
Well, and everything they make is fairly damn affordable.
Yeah. And then there's this one.
And then there's this one. You might need a cosigner.
Oh, Lord.
But nonetheless, I seen them. I knew there was a lot of fuss about them. I had watched Holt's YouTube channel, which is a very good one, by the way. If you haven't ever checked it out, go check those guys out. They do some really, really fun reviews and some fun games and different stuff. Holt's Cigar.
Yeah.
Really,
they do a lot of content.
And they know what the hell they're talking about.
They really do.
They're really good.
I've bought from them a couple of times in the past, and I always had real good service. But man, they especially the guy that does all those shorts, the bald guy, he knows his stuff, man. He's really knowledgeable. But anyway, go ahead.
But I seen these, and I was taking my mom to an appointment one day, and I stopped in down at Smokies, and I had a cup of coffee, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go get Old Faithful. I knew I only had a certain amount of time, so I walked in there and I got myself the La Roma de Cuba baseline Robusto with the little red footband, and which has never failed to disappoint me.
I've bought more of those than any other cigar. I can tell you that right now.
And they're every time they're number one and delicious. But I went in there to get one of those to smoke and have my coffee and wait on my mom's appointment to be over with. And they had a few boxes of these in there because they're a big Ashton dealer. And this cigar is made for Ashton by Don Pepin Garcia at the My Father Factories in Nicaragua. It is we were playing what kind of wrapper do you think this is? And I couldn't ever pull the trigger, and Jamie got it right off the bat. It is a very mine is they're almost a little they're a little different. They're a little different. Mine is very rustic looking to a degree and very toothy, but they're a San Andres wrapper with Cuban seed, Nicaraguan binder and fillers from the Pepin's farm, from the My Father's farm. So any rate, right now, the cold draw on this thing was like semi-sweet chocolate chips with some raisin. And I've gotten everything from that note. And you can see I'm probably coming up on the end of the first third. It's changed at least 3 or 4 times, but it's been subtle changes. Was kind of what we came up with, but semi-sweet chocolate chips and raisin, and then I got a lot of nuttiness off of this. Not a lot of pepper, so you guys that don't like that will really enjoy that part of it. But
now, did you say? And one thing I wanted to add is that earlier when you said this cigar is made by For Ashton, whatever. Right. Well, what he means is this entire brand, not just that cigar. Mm-hmm. This entire brand is Garcia blend.
Yeah. So the La Roma de Cuba brand is made by Pepin for Ashton, as well as like the ESG and the VSG and the Ashton line is made by Arturo Fuente or by Carlito Fuente or the Arturo Fuente company, is made for them by the Fuente family.
Which, so, if you want me to spell it out for you, to me, what that means is Ashton really knows what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
Because they went out and got the 2 top dudes and said, hey, make these. And the VSG.
Guys with the greatest living pedigrees.
Yeah, that's right. Right. So anyway, but you said something about the blend change. Now, is that something that happened in this year or for this?
Well, I may have misspoke. I just know that I think they did tweak it a little than what it was in years previous. Or it's either that. If you know, drop it down in the comments and help us out without us looking and trying to search for it while we're live on the air. But they certainly rebranded like the packaging and everything for it. So I may have gotten it mistaken for that and said that they had redid it.
Well, I'm going to make a good guy's worthless prediction here. And I'm going to say right now, just this far in, this will be a top 10 cigar of the year this year.
They're good.
I'm telling you right now, because when, we usually say this to the end, but you said, hey, try these or whatever. And this is our, as far as Mount Rushmore brands, this is. Yeah. And I thought, okay, well, how much damn better can it be than the $6 one?
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, quite a bit.
And it's, the Reserva that they make in this, in the Reserva blend that they make, which is also a favorite. It's a San Andres wrapper as well.
That's probably what
but
else.
it's so different than it.
Oh, it's not even
This one's not. The reservists got the oomph, that you're kind of expecting with Nicaraguan and San Andreas. This one's not. This one is medium.
I know it's
right now. It's probably going to gain in strength as we go. But
I'm telling you right now, this thing is brilliant good. It ain't just good. This is like as good. Well, I ain't gonna get crazy with it. Let's get it till the end and see how it works. Okay, so Vanderbilt. Well, let's talk about before we get into that, because that's going to be a whole ball of wax. How about these other teams, man? These Lady Vols, as of this recording, are undefeated.
Yeah.
And look, I don't know if I would have been asleep for a year.
They look like the fucking Globetrotters.
My God, it's just not a day different team. I didn't watch them enough last year to say, oh, she was here last year or any of that. But I did watch them play 2 or 3 times, and I'm telling you right now, this is not even the same thing.
I listened to more Lady Vol games last year than I got to watch. So it seemed like I was always in transit for something or another. And I was always listening to them on the radio, which I do think Brian Rice does a really good job as the voice of the Lady Vols. And that's something, we hadn't talked about that up until now, but 3 weeks ago, Bob Kessling is retiring at the end of this basketball season as the voice of the Vols.
We ought to put up a poll to see who they think it's going to be. The replacement.
That would be a good one.
Because didn't Mickey Dearstone pass away?
Yeah,
or did he retire?
Well, he's definitely retired, but I want to say he did pass away as well. But
I always enjoyed him.
He just retired.
I always enjoyed.
I always liked Mickey's call. I think Brian Rice is doing a good job. Wilkerson actually called the men's game down in the Bahamas. Him and Bob, or him and Bert. They did the call on the men's game, and Wilkerson did a pretty good job with it. I don't know when Wilkerson started talking like he was so excited, though, all the time. Like there's something changed in his delivery that it kind of bothers me a little bit now. I used to really like, I still like to hear him make the call, but something's different about his phrasing and he's got this, it goes up on the end, and it could just be 32-14. It's like
he's animated vocally.
It's
for
weird,
sure.
though.
It's
where most guys are like 32-14 here at the Penguin Arena.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. It's got a different thing to it, but I don't know who they'll get. I'd say there's will there be new blood? Will it go to probably Wilkerson has got as much seniority as anybody else over there, and the the pedigree to be able to back it up, but
I don't think they're going to hire Wilkerson for. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah.
No. Well, he might be an interim pick, but he's too old to be the full-time pick because Wilkerson's, I think, about 59 or 60, 58, 59.
How old was Bob when he got it, though?
Well, I don't know, but Bob's only like 65 now. So
really,
yeah,
I thought he was older than that.
No, I think. Well, I say that like we're buddies or something. Hell, I don't know how old he is.
That's Bob with 1 O, if you're watching from home.
Very much so. Apparently somebody else has been, because it's Google trending on Bob Kessling age. All right, he's 70, so he got hired when he's 45.
Okay.
So that's 15, 13, 14. I think Wilkerson would be an all right pick to be an interim pick.
I don't see John wanting to leave baseball.
I don't either.
Because he's a baseball guy
Yeah.
He's always been the voice of the baseball, the voice of the Vols for the baseball season as long as I can remember.
Right.
And, and he took that from Mickey too, right? Wasn't Mickey the one that did Mickey Dearstone? Didn't he do the baseball games too?
Let's see, Mickey.
For years?
Well, I don't recall. I didn't listen to a whole lot. I know that Wilkerson's been doing it quite a while.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what we'll do. We'll research that and make that talking point episode, or maybe come out with a 10 or 15 minute clip or something like that on that. But
it'd be an interesting poll.
It'd be interesting. Who do you think's going to get it? Put it in the comments.
I just don't really know who all the candidates. I was just trying to go through it.
I mean, would Mike Keith leave Titans?
Well, that's the first person I thought of. I don't know. I doubt that. I think
he's kind of made it, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was in line. He was in line.
Whether it's the Titans or not.
Yeah, I don't think that he's going to do it. That's the first person I thought of, though.
Me as well.
I wonder if Hamer's going to be in it. I mean, Hamer's pretty good, but
I wonder if they're going to get
a color guy too. Two people have a color commentary.
I wonder if they're not going to get somebody for every one. I mean, we might totally go away from. I mean, because of the way the programs are doing and how well each individual sport is doing. If you got Rice with the Lady Vols, you got John with the world, with the national champ baseball. I'll tell you, man, Hamer does a great job.
I think he does too.
He's very well spoken. He's knowledgeable. He knows what he's talking about. Sometimes he gets a little
chatty.
He gets a little chatty when he could use 5 words to sum up what he's trying to say in 15 or 20. But
a little Tony Romo right now.
Look who you're watching.
Yeah, I mean,
right. So
us talk about people talking too much.
What you gonna do, Jim? Yeah.
Oh shit.
But maybe they do something like that. I don't know.
So football.
Yeah. Tennessee Vanderbilt.
It's the 119th time we've played something crazy like that.
Something crazy like that. The series record is 80. We have 80 wins and 32 losses and 5 ties.
About it.
So 80 and 37.
117.
117.
This will be 118.
Yeah. Our winning streak is 5. The longest winning streak we had was 22 games.
Let me guess when that was.
Yeah.
About 85 till 97.
Close. 83 to 2004.
Okay.
Longest losing streak.
Recent.
9 games.
Oh, no, that's not then.
No.
That would have been early. That 20s.
Was from 1901 to 1913.
Ty Cobb was watching that shit.
Yeah. When your great-great-granddaddy was... home record is 40, 11, and 1. Our away record is 40, 21, and 4. Conference record is 72, 14, and 1. The very first matchup we had with the Commodores back in October 21st in 1892.
Wow.
We lost 22 to 4.
In front of a crowd of 16 people.
That's right. And all 37 of their teeth. The last 10 matchups.
Not a person there over 32 years old either, because it's about as long as you lived.
The last 10 matchups are 7-3. And that's from 2014, obviously, 2014 to 2023. Largest margin of victory was 65-0 in 1994.
Wow.
Smallest margin of victory was 25-24 in 2007.
I remember that.
Total points, 2,599. Average points has been 22.21 a game.
That better go up tomorrow, today, because if it doesn't,
yeah.
So if we lose to Vandy, you got to come back and put the goalposts back in the field, or get them out of the river.
Oh man, who knows?
What's the response? That's what I want to know.
Well,
you lose to Vandy. Oh,
right.
I don't know. Alabama.
Well, the game's there, so if we lose to them there, they're liable to be, showing up at fucking Conway Twitty's ranch down the street. Who knows? I mean, you can't ever tell. I think it would be a huge win for them, obviously, because they could be such a spoiler and they would get to an 8-game winning season. Of course, they would get probably in a little bit better of a bowl than what they're going to be. They're bowl eligible now, but
already 6-5. They did beat us too. It'd be the only time in history before, now, or in the future that they beat Tennessee and Alabama in the same season. If that happened, that would never happen again. You'd have a better chance of, as John Candy said, playing pickup sticks with your butt cheeks.
Yeah.
To get the flight out of here tonight.
Oh, that's funny.
But it can happen.
Yeah.
I mean, that team that beat the Vandy team that beat the Alabama team can beat us.
Well, like what Heupel said at his press conference.
Did he say my offensive coordinator sucks?
No. On Monday, he said that, we are going to get Vanderbilt's best, and Vanderbilt's best is really good. So he did say that in his Monday morning press conference. And, he's right. I mean, they've been world beaters and then they've lost tough ones. They're not built. Vandy is, in my opinion, Vandy can beat you if you let them hang around down less than one score.
And that quarterback,
or down one score.
And that quarterback is a winner, buddy. He is tenacious.
With that being said, you take the game against Texas. Texas got up on them by 14. If they had been up on them by 10, Vandy would have beat them. But down 2 touchdowns, they couldn't. They don't have that style of offense to get them back to where they need to be.
That's a good point, yeah.
In my opinion.
And neither do we now.
Well, no, ours ain't showed shit either. And I tell you, we were talking about this earlier in the season about why are we not running that fast pace? Why are we not doing that? We don't have the receivers.
Probably not.
Listen, Brew McCoy scored 2 touchdowns against UTEP. And that was the first 2 touchdowns of the season. And all we've heard is how great of a football player Brew McCoy is and how big of a leader he is and all this and that and the other. But he's not scored more than 2 touchdowns all season. That means UTEP, Kent State, Our Lady of Perpetual Sorrow.
Yeah.
Tennessee School for, Hogwarts kids.
Well, that was your only 2 gimme games.
But
this year, yeah, I know. Yeah.
But you would think if he's this guy and his injury last year was such a huge blow for the offense and for the team, not only obviously, as they're saying, as a leader standpoint, but really, he's only got 2 touchdowns all year.
And, and that was this past game.
And this is a 5th-year senior.
Right? Yeah.
So that tells me right there, you don't have those players that can go out and either run by them or create enough separation to string out the play or lengthen the play and find soft spots in the zones or whatever to make big catches. We ain't got them. And that's part of that whole, if we don't get better, we got to go get better that I made last week, I feel like.
Yeah, no, that was a good point. I think that while you were saying that, I was at the game and I got to see, a lot more than you could see off television. And you're right. The one thing I've noticed is that nobody is getting better on that team. Gilbert, you might argue the kickers got better, just with more confidence. But I don't see anybody that's better now than they were game one.
I don't even think Gilbert's got better. I think he got back to where he was at the first of the season because he came in pretty great.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Kicks. So, but I don't see
semantics, but
right. But I don't see anybody getting better. I watched the secondary. We'll break it down. I've got a lot to say about the game and what I think is happening. But here's something I want to start with. I am concerned about the position and coordinator coaching staff. And that makes me a little concerned about Hop. A little.
Well,
we'll see.
It makes me concerned about him from the longevity standpoint of him coaching college football, whether it be here at University of Tennessee or somewhere else, because, like we said, not to step on your things or your thoughts, but hijack them. But you're only going to stay around in this league and or in college football in general, especially now, as much parity, because those days of having 14 deep at each position, guess what? Alabama ain't got it no more. Georgia probably has it a little bit more than anybody else, but those days are coming to an end.
They're going to fluctuate.
If they're not already ended.
I mean, look how well you said it. You said it. Anybody in the top 25 right now can beat anybody in the top 25 on a given day.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think I can remember that ever happening. And I didn't realize that the effect of this NIL stuff and all that would be that quick. But it is, man.
Yeah.
You nailed it. You're right.
Yeah. Well, look how quick. I mean, now I know this is kind of apples and oranges, but look how quick it changed basketball. For us in particular. Absolutely.
These transfers and these walk-on, or not walk-ons, but transfers, that's where you got Dalton Connect. Now maybe he would have come anyway.
Where we got Chaz.
Yeah.
For this year.
Yeah.
So these guys, these 4 stars and these 3 stars that have come in and worked their ass off and learned about, gotten them a couple of years under their belt. They're not going to sit around and wait.
No, especially if you're a position player.
32 jobs, just like everybody else is.
That's right. Man, we got it. This is a deep well right here.
And at the bottom of it all, like we said last week, we're really touching on a lot of that stuff too. But like we said last week, at the end, at the very first variable that you have is those kids have been competitors, uber, ultra competitors since they were 5-6 years old.
That's right.
So they're not going to sit around and wait on that.
No.
But I'm in agreement. There's no creativity with Tennessee's offense. There's no creativity. When we can sit and tell you what's getting ready to happen, it's really bad.
Yeah.
Because we're not getting paid.
Yeah, and we're
for coaching and our prowess and our knowledge. I mean,
and we talked. You said that the other day. Everybody's an armchair quarterback, of course, but I try not to be, because I understand that, especially coaching at this level is like, man, that's a hard ass job, and a full time job times about 4. You think you're working hard? Shoot. I bet Nick Saban, before he retired, was, didn't go home most nights. He was sleeping in his damn office, probably.
Yeah.
But you said something about, were you implying that you thought that it was going to be harder for coaches to keep their job now?
It is going to be harder for them to keep their job if they're not if they're not getting better, then they got to go get better. And if they're not
out.
coming from that, if they're not going to come from that mindset of Saban and Smart and these guys who have had some longevity to their careers, the Ryan Day. Hey, guess what? If you've had a disappointing season, even though it might be a winning season, first one on the chopping block is going to be a coordinator of some kind.
Oh, yeah.
And you got to go get better. You got to get better position coaches. You got to get better coordinators. You have to surround yourself with, you can rag and crack and talk about Mike Bobo all you want to, being second rate, or he's just constantly always getting a job somewhere, but the guy's got 30 years of offensive coordinator experience, or football experience, let's say. And guess what? He got creative. They made adjustments. They said, well, they're not covering our tight ends, so let's throw to them for about 164 yards this game and get one of them 2 touchdowns. And, that's what they won the ball game by, because they were able to make adjustments. If you're not making adjustments after every series of downs, and you don't have the coaches that can coach up and get these kids up and coached up to the next series, then you sure as hell ain't going to be able to switch them at the halftime, and make an adjustment to see what's going on. But you can't. You can live and die by, pick where you want to die. It'll work. Have confidence in it. See it through. Imagine it happening. All that shit. That's not the way it really goes.
This is we've opened a can of worms here. Yeah, no, I agree. But about coaching them up and this and that, now coaches, I think, and probably more so than ever, based on the points you made, coaches are going to be hired for their ability to recruit more than ever now. Because, listen, you might think that, Alabama's got all this money. Listen, there's a pot full of money in Knoxville too. It ain't about that. Everybody, all these Division I big programs are playing with the same capital.
Well, look at Texas A&M.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying,
paid out Jimbo $80 million just to say, sorry, it didn't work out.
Right. Yeah. Everybody's so they're going to be hiring these coaches based on their ability to recruit and retain.
Yeah.
But what does that say? So about Heupel. Heupel's proven to be a pretty good recruiter, right?
Yeah.
But we're talking about a guy that came in second in the Heisman, and Nico's worse right now than he's ever been. He has not only he's not improved. He has his skill set has degraded. Well, or his execution certainly has.
Has he, or has the offense?
Well, the offense didn't throw that damn interception on the first play of the game that the guy dropped. So, I don't know. It could be. It's a combination of both. One thing I got to see while I was there that I couldn't see from a television game most of the time is that after every offensive play, Nico was looking to the sideline like, what? Like he is on a short leash. You know what I'm saying? It's like, don't. And if that's the case, we're in trouble. Because I felt like he was like, this, and like you said, no creativity whatsoever. We can't throw a screen pass at all. We're terrible. Terrible.
I don't understand why you don't work. Okay, you don't have the receivers. You got a young quarterback that's getting it but not getting it. Let's just say that, right? And your offense, you just can't seem to put together 4 quarters, right? But you've got a kid who you've got a line that's good enough at run blocking, and you got a running back that's good enough to be a game changer
and to carry you in this next game.
Carry you. So, when we were down on the goal line against Georgia, we lined up with that. I'm just going to say this is probably not the right term, but for lack of better term, they line up with a full house backfield.
Right.
They got two tight ends in the backfield and Sampson, or one tight end and a fullback. Whatever.
Which is the way we ought to run every play we do this year.
Well,
but go ahead.
We certainly should run more of them, because even, down there, the wrinkle this time around against Georgia was we handed it straight to Ketzelman, who was basically the fullback in the scenario. And it's the quick hitter, and he dives right in. Okay.
Eliminate your lead blocker. That way. It makes the other one ineffective.
Right.
Go ahead.
But it's different. It's, but that also, the next time you do it and you're on the 20 or you're on the 30 or you're on the 50 or wherever, but the next time you bring that out, and when you have done it the other way, we've picked up 6, 7, 8, 9 yards of run on it.
Right.
Okay. Then let's run a misdirection. Let's run the dive. Let's give it to Sampson as well between the tackles. We can also give him a pitch and get him to the corner outside, or we can fake the dive and throw the swing pass to him. Just something fucking different. Something that has some misdirection, something that has some creativity, something that's going to get a swarming defense like ours is to go this way, and then the play goes that way.
Yeah, it's called buying you some time.
Just exactly what Georgia did to us.
Georgia's master class coached us out of the damn buildings, what they did. It was embarrassing.
And if we're going to start getting any kind of creativity there, to me, you start it in the backfield and you start it there. And then maybe you got some of these players. I was really glad to see the freshman. I can't remember it. It's not Milton. Receiver. Oh, God bless America. I had this, folks. Any rate, I was glad to see him come in and get some
repetitions,
some reps. He's a freshman. I'm trying to think. Come on. Any rate, I'll find it in a minute.
Well, something you were saying while you're looking that up, you were talking about what works and what doesn't work. And I said this on a previous episode. I think, or I don't think, I guess, that coaches understand this when they are trying to outwit the other opponent. Okay. If you've got a run game that works, all right, and this is a famous phrase. It has been around here and it has been at my growing up. Run it until they stop you, for example. Okay. Well, I think that because a lot of these coaches grew up playing Madden and stuff like that, that they think that, okay, that their opponent, in this case, if you're the offensive coordinator, your opponent's the defensive coordinator, that even if your opponent figures out what you're going to do, then you're doomed.
Matthews.
So if you're, what I'm getting at is that if you're thinking, oh, if they figure out what I'm doing, I'm screwed, right? That's because in a video game, your opponent, which is the coach, is also the player. There is no disconnect between the execution portion. I don't give a damn if the other coach did figure it out. If his players cannot execute it,
Exactly.
Look, if you're running the ball every play right up the middle, getting 10 yards, and then they come up and stack 11 in the damn box or whatever, then call an audible. I get that. That's an odds that you want to overcome by checking down or whatever. But look, if you can go out and throw the ball or run the ball or both, mix whatever, you do it until they stop you. You don't have to come up with some fancy ass bullshit like he threw 2 passes, that sideline crap that we hate so much. Man, he threw one the other day. It was a completion. And there wasn't that much room between the guy, the defender's hand. Did you see that camera angle? And that play needs to be stricken from the record forever.
He got 3 yards.
3 yards.
He had to throw it 30 yards to the sideline.
Right. And also
instead of 30 yards down the field.
Hanging it out there to where somebody could jump in front of it and pick 6 and
or get a tip on it and it's a live ball.
And while the best running back in the SEC's back there, looking at his nails or whatever. Come on, man. Throw it over the middle. Get you some room, have an out, and this is what's concerning to me. Listen, it has to be one of these 2 things. Either Nico is not coachable or they're not coaching him. That's the only options you got right there. That's it.
Our receivers can't get free.
Well, that may be very well be.
And you can't throw it over the middle if they're on them. If they're covered, if they can't create distance enough to get a window to throw it to them. But how do you make that happen out of the backfield? You make it happen out of the backfield. You get creative. You go get Army's offensive coordinator.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's not what we need to do. But you work within your strength, and that's our strength.
That's it. That's a good way of putting it.
And then they're going to come up and try to stop that. And then maybe you're going to get a cornerback or a safety that's looking in to thinking they got to come in there and be run support.
Yeah.
And then you've created the separation without having to have the extra talent to be able to just get away from somebody.
Well, what they do is they just sit back and play zone defense. And
we cannot do that.
Well,
we have to put pressure.
Well, yeah, no, I was talking about the opponent because they're thinking what you're thinking. Hell, they can't get free.
We said it since the Arkansas game. I said it before the Arkansas game. I said they're going to line up and make Nico and the receivers beat us. And it's going to be beat them. And it's going to be a long day if we can't do that.
And you nailed it. Well, and that's
the game plan.
It would be my
game plan.
It would be my game plan. You want to let the guy that just broke the touchdown record at Tennessee, who's been playing football for 130 years, you're going to let? No, you're going to stack it up and say, hey, our offensive line is good north to south. They are terrible laterally. They're awful. I mean, anybody can get around them, and we've talked about how to fix that. From our defensive side, what do you think's wrong with our defense? Because it's not it's not what it was. I think changed.
What's wrong with our defense is Tim Banks, and we championed him as this world beater and the best coach ever, and he's going to have 73 jobs offers lined up as soon as the season's over, and he very well could get job offers after the season's over. But it's the same problem we have as society. We champion people who way too quick and
haven't earned it yet,
who haven't fucking paid their dues and earned it yet. Now, you can say Tim Banks has paid his dues because we were 3 years ago, we were ranked 186th in pass defense.
Sure.
We're a little higher now.
Yeah.
But, I think that's the case. They totally did what they did at Missouri last year. They had a bad game plan and played bad, period. And those guys are better when you're not showing the offense that you're leaving everybody man to man. You're disguising, and then leaving them man to man, but you've disguised it so well that then you can bring all the pressure from everywhere.
Sure. And what I was getting at is like, what
I think that's our biggest problem.
I think that's something that other teams have figured out this season about our defense is that
we're very aggressive. So if we're going to go one way, they're going to, if I was an offensive coordinator planning against this defense, I would be talking about motion and misdirection plays as much as we could do. As much as we could do.
Well,
to get everybody overcommitted.
It's like when the Dodgers scouted the Yankees. In fact, well, no, I was just thinking when the Dodgers played the Yankees and already had them beat on paper. That's what they're doing with us because they have figured out that they touted our defensive 4 down as, oh, this is going to be it, and it's completely not. Our defense is driven by the linebacker side and the corners. Don't you think? Do you look at that front 4 and go, oh man, they're getting in the backfield? Because I guarantee you this, they didn't at Georgia. Georgia's game.
No, well, I don't think they were.
I don't think they could. I don't think they could get in the bag. They got blocked all night.
They can't do it. Our defensive line is great. I think we're very good. But we can't do it all. We don't have 4 Aaron Donalds, and we don't have an Aaron Donald, a Howie Long, and you know what I'm saying? We can't do it. They can't do it the whole game, and they have to have twists and stunts, and they have to have they have to have the trickery, if you will, of showing one thing but bringing everybody. And to your point is linebackers and or a safety coming up. And okay, you can leave them man to man, but don't line up and show them man to man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what we were doing. We were counting on our secondary to be better than what they were. Okay, well you can, and they are good, but you can't just, you don't have Revis and Dion out there.
Yeah.
You can't just say beat us.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean?
Right.
We had a very bad game plan.
I think Georgia's game plan was this. If we can get them on their heels, we got them beat because they're not going to be able to bring those guys up. They're going to have to be back there doing cornerback stuff because we're going to throw 4 receivers at them, and they did. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing: Georgia ain't that good. We are as good. Well, on our best day, I think we're better than them. But obviously, the score is all that matters. So,
Georgia is as good as Georgia is. Alabama is as good as Alabama is. Tennessee is as good as Tennessee is. Ole Miss is as good as Ole Miss is. A&M is as good as they are. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is they're as good as they want to be on any given Saturday.
Right.
But this year, we were trading a bunch of texts back and forth. Like, I was losing my mind over Alabama. I was reading the old
playoff
rankings, and Alabama being ahead of us. I lost my fucking mind. I was going nuts.
Well, the records had updated, but not the thing.
Right.
So the records had them with 3 losses, but it was put out before that loss at Oklahoma. So it was kind of deceptive, really.
And your question was to me, and I think you asked this just to get me to stop for a second and think about it, was, well, what 11 teams are better than Alabama? Are there 11 teams? Are there 11 teams better?
Yeah.
Or who are the teams that are better? Well, I think you could put Ole Miss right there. I think you could put Texas A&M right there. And I'm just talking about people from our conference. Hell, as far as the way they're playing, you could probably put Florida right there right now. I mean, they're going to have the quarterback to beat next year. That Lagway, or is that?
Yeah. He was the backup, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And he came in and looked like freaking Cam Newton.
So, I mean,
keeping Napier looking like a good idea now.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think we've got a clear-cut best team. Now, Texas has showed that they are, but here's my problem with the college football bullshit rankings is how could the loss to Arkansas be a bad loss for us and
a good
win for Texas? Piss off. Piss off. Every one of you talking bobblehead sons of bitches out there. Fuck you. That can't be. And it ain't because I'm a Tennessee fan. I would say it if it was happening to whomever. But it can't, I get so tired of everybody patting asses and saying, I love Dan Patrick and I watch him religiously to get information and stuff that I know is true and not just a hot take to see or hear which talking head can yell louder than the other and get a contract raise,
right.
on ESPN. But, he was like, we should be talking more about Alabama football. Fuck Alabama football. Listen, man, when North Carolina didn't make the NCAA finals, first time in UNC history since Dean Smith had been there, didn't make the tournament.
Yeah.
Guess what? College basketball went on right on without them.
That's right.
College basketball was just fine. When Kentucky got beat by, Paducah State or who the hell ever.
Yeah.
Guess what? NCAA basketball went right on. Didn't miss a step. You know what I mean?
2-minute blurb, and that was it.
It's like, guys, instead of and the announcers are the worst. Instead of talking about everything the favored team is doing wrong, how about talking about what the underdog is doing right?
Yep.
All night, as Oklahoma was whipping the piss out of the parading pachyderm from Tuscaloosa.
That's all they talked about?
That's all they talked about. I mean, or it seemed to me. But how about talking about what the other guys are doing right? So,
about how Oklahoma might be getting their shit together after all season.
You're talking about a team that's only got one conference win.
Oklahoma?
Yeah.
And it's against Alabama.
Yeah. And got beat.
That's shooting. They're shooting.
I think they're shooting across the creek.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, it sounds like fireworks.
Fireworks, yeah.
I thought we might have fucking Arnold, the bodybuilding groundhog. I thought he might be underneath. He might have been knocking on the door and saying, hey, man, stop trying to kill me, okay? I'm just trying to get a little clover out here in the backyard.
No respect.
But at any rate, we digressed off of the game, but I just, I think you could just about pick a team out of the top 5 teams out of the league in the SEC, and any of them can beat any of them.
Oh, yeah.
I think any of them are just on any given day are just as good. And evidently, it's been a very, very tough thing to win on the road this year.
Yeah.
For everybody.
Yeah. Certainly. So, I mean,
we got our work cut out for us.
So let's say we win. Okay. We win this game. And then apparently if we should be in, that would be an in for us. They were trying to explain it, how the college playoff, the 12 is picked. They didn't explain it very well. They were saying something to the effect of if Texas A&M, for example, of crazy shit, beats Texas today,
which they're going to.
I
really think they will.
then Texas A&M and Georgia will be in the SEC championship game.
Right. Georgia's in regardless.
Right. It's based on being in that championship game is solely based on conference record.
Right.
You could be 0 outside the conference and win all your conference games and tied for.
Right.
But here's what I didn't understand. Do the conference champions, when like in the basketball tournament, let's say there, if you're the last place team in the country and win the SEC tournament, you're in automatically to the 64 or 68, whatever it is now. So is that what they were saying? Is that if let's say Texas A&M wins out, which the next two games, which would be Texas, Georgia, right?
Right.
Are they in?
I think they get in.
They have 3 losses.
Yeah, but Georgia would too. And they got a head-to-head, and they won the conference, and they won the championship.
But there's not 11 teams with a better. So is that what it is, though? Does that mean that the SEC championship game winner or the regular season?
Power 4 champions or conference winners get in automatically and get a bye.
Now, what I'm asking, though, is that conference winners just means whoever's the number one in the conference wins the conference, not the championship game necessarily.
Well, see,
because that's what I was getting at, is that I didn't understand that part, so maybe our audience can explain.
I don't think so, because I basically don't think we don't crown a conference champ until after the championship game. Not like basketball,
right?
Where Tennessee wins the
conference,
and then shits the bed first round in the tournament.
Yeah.
So the conference championship is not. You can't win the conference unless you win the championship conference. The SEC championship game is the way I understand it.
Okay.
So that's where, when Kiffin said what he did the other day about, do we really want to go to the conference championship game? And maybe you lose that and then you're out.
Right. Exactly.
Of the playoff.
That's why I was saying that Tennessee might have, after shitting the bed in Arkansas, might be a beneficial thing.
Yeah.
Because now you don't have to play in the SEC championship game. You are in, right? So you got a week off.
So here's
an extra week off. You don't have to beat up on each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You got to play that extra game
for
nobody else has to play, or
right.
The top 4 seeds don't have to play.
Right.
But you also get that bye week of the conference championship game.
Right.
So, so the way I understand it looks for Tennessee is we win against Vanderbilt. There's not a question we're in. If Texas A&M were to beat Texas.
Where is it? Is it at A&M?
It's at A&M.
Yeah.
It'll be wilder than hell, man. And it's a night game. It'll be crazy.
Texas is starting quarterback's hurt.
Got a sprained ankle.
Yeah. So anyway, you were saying
they basically left the Southwest Conference and the Big 12 because they never wanted to play those sons of bitches again,
right.
In their words. And now, so first year in, it's going to come down to it, so there'll be 107,000 crazy cult members of Texas A&M down there raising hell with their snake hisses and all their boy dance club team over there yelling cheers or yells. Their yell team. I heard Josh and Swain said that today. Swain said, "Now what is their boy dance team? What do they call it? The boy dance team?" And it's like, I don't think that's what they're called. But so Tennessee's in if we beat Vandy, and we'll be the
8th.
Yeah, 8th seed.
As of now, yeah.
As of now. But then if A&M were to beat Georgia in the championship game, then it could bump us up that we could actually get to host a game and not have to travel for that first game here at Neyland in the playoffs. So it could bump us up in the seeds again as well. From what I understand, everything I've heard today.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So so what they do is they take the top 4 and cut them out to a bye, and then so you take 5 through 12 and play them, and you seed them. So 5 through 8. Oh no, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 8. So 5, 6, 7, 8 would get to home.
Right.
So you'd have to be an 8 or higher to get the first home.
Right.
Game. I got you.
And I think we're at like number 9 right now, actually, in the seeds.
Okay.
So moving up to that 8, getting in that top 8 would mean you get a home first round playoff game.
Which is big.
And I think if you're not one of the first 4, the other one that you would really want to be probably is that 5th seed, because there's benefits to that one too.
Right.
So, but bottom line, this is a playoff game at Vandy.
Definitely.
Period.
Playoff starts today.
Exactly. And, and here's the unfortunate part about it. If we were to lose to Vandy, now none of us, including myself, and I said this last couple weeks on these shows, none of us would fuss a bit and probably even predicted 9-3, 10-2 on the season.
Right.
Right?
Right.
We didn't know one of those losses. We probably thought it was going to be Alabama and Georgia, or Florida, Georgia, Alabama. That was going to be the 3 losses. Everybody else we were going to beat. Well, we didn't. We beat Florida and Alabama.
And Oklahoma.
Couldn't beat Georgia.
At Oklahoma. Yeah.
Couldn't beat Georgia and couldn't beat Arkansas. So, but the thing about it is, and here's what makes Heupel's job so fucking hard, just for here, period, is now there is all this speculation and talk of being able, quite possibly, if Cinderella loses her slipper again, we could host a playoff game. I mean, we've already said that, right? We've already said if. Well, that's a big if. But my point being is, okay, we're not really disappointed that we're 10-2 or 9-3. But if we drop that last game to Vanderbilt and go 9-3, that's a huge difference other than already having 3 losses and winning again at Vanderbilt.
Absolutely.
It's a momentum swing for the ages, especially for the Big Orange Kool-Aid drinkers here on Rocky Top.
And especially for Heupel and his family, because he'll be nervous.
It'll be devastating to the fan base. It'll be devastating to the program, and it'll be devastating to the jobs that they'll have to fill, because he will have to fire somebody.
Hopefully
start hiring some people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I see.
You're 100% accurate. If you lose at Vanderbilt,
the whole season was shot.
The whole season was shot, and I'm really concerned about the ability of our coaching staff to coach these players up. If you
lost to Florida, Alabama, and Georgia, all 3, just like you have in years past, but won everything else, we'd be happy we wouldn't be that happy, but we would be happier than losing that last game for that 3rd loss.
Sure. Yeah.
That meant so much.
No, you're that's a good point. It'll be sad, dark times on Rocky Top if they drop this one.
Time.
Yeah. They will be calling for Heupel's head.
Yeah. So
the general public. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that what is
more
going to happen is that we're going to get by Vanderbilt. I do not think it's going to be a blowout. If that offense hasn't gotten better, it's gotten worse. I was just thinking, I forgot about the Oklahoma game, but my God, we look like the best team in the country against Oklahoma. I mean, we went out there and took care of business. Did we not? And they're not being that good since. And I'm not talking about playing these high school teams either.
And guess what? I guarantee you, I'd make a bet. I don't know what I want to wager, but we can come up with it between now and then. But I would wager on the fact that I guarantee you Oklahoma's got a new offensive coordinator at the first of the season.
Oh, yeah.
Next season.
Yeah, it might be Bobby Petrino.
They weren't built for the SEC, and this first year in gave them a big taste of it.
Exposed them.
It gave them a big taste of it, exposed them. And guess what? Whether they played in the Southwest Conference or the Big 12 or the Big who gives a shit, as far as history goes, Oklahoma is a history-rich and pride-filled tradition school.
In all sports.
And they won't hesitate.
Yep.
And that's the thing, will we hesitate?
Who do you think is
if they lose to Vanderbilt, there will be no hesitation. They'll be fucking, you'll see they'll call up the Baltimore Colts and get that number for the Mayflower Moving Company, and they'll be out there moving people.
The Mayflower Moving Company.
Little old school reference for you there.
Did you see that Mac Brown was fired?
Yeah. And I hate that. He's one of the good guys, but come on, Mac. You're 137. You and Moses were on the same
73. Look that.
You were on the same
I thought he was older. Yeah. He probably will hang it up.
You were in the same creative writing class as Moses. Okay. You're fucking old, man.
Y'all were writing on tablets.
And I hate that for him because he's legitimately one of the good guys of coaching in college football, one of the old guards. But I hate they fired him. I wish he'd have just, and maybe that's what it was. I don't know. Did he actually get fired?
I saw he got fired. Yeah. I got a feeling that there was some disagreements about what was going to happen next, and there might have been an FU or something. And then you're like, well, we bragged on this Tennessee program from top to bottom in every sport and whatever. And, I'm still proud that we're able to play as well as we have and win. And I don't want to be we're 9-2 and be disgruntled about it, but I see some things that concerned me.
Yeah.
Behavior that concerns me. And part of that is,
I think the biggest behavior things I see is our coaching staff not giving our guys the chance, not putting them in the best chance to win.
And maybe, yeah, that's a shame.
That's a shame.
Because you're making more in 1 year over here than a lot of people make in a lifetime.
Well, and regardless of whether they're getting paid or whether they're doing a commercial,
I'm talking
whether
about
they're driving I know, I understand that. And I'm talking about just getting back to, they're getting paid. They're blah, 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 blah. Fuck off. Whether they're driving a Hyundai or a new goddamn Countach, who gives a shit?
Yeah, I don't care.
They still deserve, they're still young kids, they're young men, and they still, due to their competitive nature and everything that they've worked for and done in their life to get to this point, they still deserve to be put in the right position to be able to win.
This is, okay, I'm going to make another crazy, worthless prediction, but here's what I think. It would not surprise me a bit to see Nico transfer. I don't know why I feel that way, but it would not surprise me to see him transfer.
Lord, don't say that.
Well, I don't want him to transfer.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking, that how easy it is to jump ship. And if it's like you say, and the coaching staff is basically not playing to his strengths and whatever else, he might feel like, oh, he's got to know that he's not performed like he wanted to, right? This year?
Yeah, of
except
course.
in these big, okay.
Nobody knows quicker than the guy just got his ass whipped if there was a fight that just happened.
Sure.
So yeah, I would have to think he knows that.
So you're redshirt freshman, you got 3 years ahead of you. You're vying for 32 jobs, right? Of course, backup job in that league's pretty, you get to play quite a bit and you get paid well. But my point is that if you think that the coaching staff's not going to get you there, get you to that level,
yeah,
don't you go somewhere you think it is? If you think you can make it, because you're under the microscope now, buddy.
No,
you've got you came in gangbusters, undefeated, and I feel like there's something off there. There's something, just watching him in person, just being able to focus on what I wanted to focus on. He looked panicked in the first half. He just did.
Mm. Well, I certainly wasn't. I wasn't there. I didn't see any of that, and quite honestly, I didn't see the. I didn't see the entire first quarter of our ball game either. I was.
Well, you didn't miss nothing.
Yeah. Well, I'm picking up on that.
It was about a lackluster first quarter. Our first two offensive series are probably the two worst offensive series I can remember for a UT team. It was just complete sluggish, lackluster bullshit. I don't know. I was like, oh my God. And we put up all those points, and you're playing against a school that doesn't have the depth or the talent to compete past a quarter or two. So the win, you knew you're going to win, but their quarterback outplayed ours, man. Just did.
Well, how do you say that? I mean, they didn't score no fucking points.
No, I don't mean that. I just meant that his decision making, it just was better. God. And that tells me that like you said, it's a coaching issue.
Yeah. Because
Nico's got the athletic skill set. I've heard him talk or whatever. He seems like he's an intelligent guy. At times he just looks like that, my God, he's the best thing going. And at other times it looks like he ought to be, he thinks he's playing hockey or something. I don't understand.
Yeah.
But he's, like you said,
he's thrown for 2,255 yards, 15 TDs, 4 interceptions, and 67. He's quarterback rating. He's 47th in the country. Go without saying about any of that, but so I don't know if that's terrible. I don't know if it certainly ain't what we thought it was.
You're the 47th ranked quarterback in the country, and you're number 7 overall
in quarterback rating. Now I don't know how that all breaks down, but he's thrown for 2,255 yards, 15 TDs, 4 interceptions. His completion percentage versus conference in conference play is 62%. Passing yardage in the conference is 1,348. Touchdowns versus conference is only 5. There's your. So that's where it tells me too that it's a lot of coaching. Is that when the competition stiffens and gets better, then we're laying down. But
the tail is in that stats right there, because if you're a defensive coordinator and you're watching tape of us, listen, I'm not going to take anything away from Dylan Sampson. Dylan Sampson's played great. He's great, but think about it this way. Does Dylan Sampson Now, forget the stats for a second. If I say, Mike, name the 10 best running backs ever at Tennessee, is Dylan Sampson on that list? No, he's not on my list. So what does that tell every defensive coordinator in this country? Is that if you got a guy that's a good back, I wouldn't call him a great back. He's a good back, but he just broke the record at a school that's got 130 years worth of records with names like Reggie Cobb, Chuck Webb, Arian Foster. It keeps going. Jamal Lewis. What it tells me is you can't throw the damn ball. That's what it tells me.
Yeah.
There. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, my God.
Well, listen, I mean, we could go on forever. I mean, the bottom line is we have to win, period.
Yeah, that's it.
We have to win to get in hopes of doing the first ever one more for the good guys playoff edition. You know, we got to go in as and win just for that reason alone.
Which we'll do that regardless, but they better win, man. Come on.
But we also have got to do it because what I said, going forward next year, whether you get put out in the first game of the playoff or you don't, going forward for momentum, for goodness of all the players, the schools, the fans, all of it, you cannot be beat. You cannot get beat by Vanderbilt today because it will. I'm telling you, a loss to Vanderbilt today will tear down 3/4 of everything he's built up in 3 seasons.
That's exactly right.
In this state, with this fan base, that's what's going to happen. You heard it here first. So,
predictions.
What's the score? What you got? What you think?
35-24, Tennessee.
All right. Wow, that's pretty good. I'm gonna say 28-17, Tennessee. That's what I'm gonna say. Final thoughts from me about the La Aroma de Cuba in the 6x52. I can't remember what they call it. I'm gonna call it a box press Toro. I think they have a different name for it, but
yeah, they got some fancy.
Yeah.
I don't know either.
Yeah. Hey,
you
hear me now? But final takes on this. Great cigar, semi-sweet chocolate. Real heavy chocolate aftertaste, almost like fudge or hot fudge kind of aftertaste.
Wow.
Really chocolatey, like rich chocolate, but from the cold draw, semi-sweet chocolate, little raisin. It's very creamy. Smoke texture is very creamy. Not a lot of pepper, a lot of nuttiness to it. I know you said it was even a little buttery.
Mine's, yeah.
Yeah, I would say that as well. What do you buy? You know, these are fairly expensive. I mean, if you find a deal on a 5-pack, I'll tell you the best way to do it. You could totally use it as a celebration cigar, as one of your, one of those that you're just going to have on special occasions. But if you're in the same tax bracket as us, you're going to need a buddy to split a box with.
Coronation is what
That's
this
the
is size.
That would be my. So if you got a buddy, pick up a couple of singles, smoke them like we did. If your buddy likes it as good as my buddy does, maybe try to find them on sale somewhere and split a box. But this is a really, really, really good. There's not a lot. There is a lot going on, but it's all subtle. And it's not so much, it doesn't so much change in thirds as much as it changes with puff to puff.
Yeah,
honestly.
it really does. It's very.
Mine did.
Mine does too. And down in this, I've started a little sooner. Down in here, I've got a whole lot of cedar and like that earthy, woody campfire-y thing. You know what I'm talking about? A lot of it right there. And I think this thing's brilliant. I mean, I'm just going to stick with my prediction. This is a top 10 cigar of the year. This is a CA top 10 cigar this year. I don't know about this, probably this size. I read some reviews from the Monarchy, the bigger one, that weren't as, size, obviously size matters, but the wrapper, I think this might be the size too. Is what I'm getting at. I love this, the box press on this, and I'm not a super box press person, but this is a brilliant smoke. As far as I'm concerned, by as many as you can get.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. And, they are expensive. I would, like you said, I would not hesitate to bring this to any celebration. Say, hey, hey, y'all, hit these. And because it's that good.
Yeah, it's definitely a celebration cigar. And if you can afford it, hell, buy a box of them. If you can't and you want them,
and buy them from us.
Buy them from us. or again, a lot of times, Jamie and I do this all the time. We buy boxes together.
Yep. Split them.
And it makes it easier. You know, it helps when you're getting up into those special cigars that are going to be a little bougie and a little pricey. Then that's what we do.
Yep.
I would say it's in the top 5 of new cigars that I have never smoked before.
Well, that's a big
in
deal.
This year.
That's
you know what I mean?
Yeah, which is quite a bit because you smoke a lot of stuff from those Standard and Twain and whatnot.
Yeah, I smoke.
I would agree with that.
Cigar of the Month Club that I'm always trying new stuff.
Yeah, the other one in the top 5 is this sumbitch right here.
Oh boy.
Right, because that's the first time this year we smoked that
and
too.
That warped.
Well, and there's another one. Here's another top 5 of new smokes of the year.
Yeah. Can't hardly put that one in there though, because these are going to be hard to find.
Right. Yeah.
But sad. You still can find them.
Very sad. That's brilliant. That's one of the best Connecticut's on the planet right there.
I'd say, that Perdomo double aged vintage Maduro 12-year, that stick right there, it may be my cigar of the year of what I've tried, new. And then that, this one doesn't come in far behind it. And the warped, the Chinchale, that's a great little cigar. Man.
Yeah, it is.
It's a great little cigar.
Great size,
that
too.
Umbagog is that bronze back's a good one. But at any rate, another story for another time. You got your predictions. Go Big Orange. Be kind to one another, folks. It doesn't cost a dime to be kind, but there's always a price to be paid for cruelty. So have a happy Thanksgiving. Go Big Orange. Cheers. One more for the good guys. You want to do another one?
Oh,
yeah. You either is or you ain't. You do or you don't. You can or you can't. Or you will or you won't. Either way, baby, a good man, well, he's hard to find.